Eliciting. Introduction. The term eliciting refers to activities, usually by teachers, of trying to get answers or feedbacks from students in order to check their understanding of either items already taught, especially, or the ones that are not yet taught, but presumably thought to be known by students. What are the reasons for eliciting? Here are some advantages for eliciting. 1. Eliciting keeps students alert. Even the best students will find their minds wandering occasionally if there is someone at the front of the room speaking, especially if what is being said is a grammar explanation in a foreign language. If they are contributing to that stage of the lesson or at least know that they could be called upon at any time, there is far less chance that a missing item on their shopping list or something that their ex-girlfriend said to them could drift into their minds. Ways of exploiting this include choosing people at random rather than just going along the row and mixing this up with giving a general question for the whole class to shout out their answers to. You can combine these by taking the suggestion of one student and asking the whole class if they agree or having anything to add. 2. Eliciting helps teachers realize if the students are listening and understanding or not. If you say, the present perfect is used to talk about things connecting the present and the past, there is no way at that stage of knowing if the students have understood what you said, even if they were listening. If you say, what do these present perfect sentences have in common? Or, what's the difference between these simple past and present perfect sentences? Instead, a lack of an answer makes it likely that they are not listening or are not following you, but see below for other possible reasons, and a correct answer makes it clear that they are alert and with you in your explanation. If that answer has only come from one person, you will need to make sure everyone else has understood as well with concept-checking questions or further elicitation of example sentences, etc. 3. Eliciting helps you find out what they already know. By starting with easy questions and working your way towards more difficult ones, you will be able to boost their confidence with the first ones and realize the limits of their knowledge once their answers start to become incomplete or wrong. Finding out what students do and don't know will also help you spend lesson time on the most important things, and help you plan future lessons with that in mind. There is the danger that you will only find out the limits of the knowledge of some of the students, or that you will underestimate their knowledge because they know but are not saying or they know but haven't explained themselves well. You can partly overcome these problems by monitoring body language and making sure everyone speaks. 4. Elicitation can mean more student talking time, STT, or cut down on teacher talking time, TTT. The fact that students are responding to almost everything you say in almost every stage of the lesson should mean that they are speaking more often than they would be if they just listening to an explanation by the teacher. This effect can be increased if you can get them commenting on what the other students say in the eliciting stages. Choosing your questions carefully can also help, e.g. by using WH questions rather than yes/no questions and by asking questions that have many different correct answers, open questions, rather than ones where you are just looking for one particular answer. This last tip should also cut down on your speaking time by meaning that you don't have to say, good, but I was looking for a different word. What do you call? One example of this is to brainstorm all the vocabulary they know in a particular category rather than just defining the one piece of vocabulary you are looking for. Another is to ask, what does the second conditional mean, rather than, is the second conditional used to talk about real things? 5. Eliciting helps students learn how to guess. Communicating in real time is a continual process of guessing, trying to predict what people are going to say, trying to work out their attitude by their tone of voice and body language, etc., etc. Many students lack this skill or are shy about using it in the foreign language classroom, and getting them used to guessing the answer to almost everything you say by eliciting can really help with this. To make sure they are happy to make a guess when you are eliciting, you'll need to give positive feedback for any kind of contribution, very imaginative, but I meant something a bit more everyday, standing close to people with quiet voices when they answer so that they don't misinterpret not hearing them as lack of understanding, and asking questions that have many possible correct answers. 6. They can learn/be exposed to useful incidental language during elicitation. Incidental language is language that you don't teach but still hope that students pick up during their interactions in the classroom. Phrases they should learn how to understand and then maybe go on to be able to use, or at least be ready to learn consciously when they come up in the syllabus, from elicitation include: what does mean? How do you spell? What is this sound, and what's the difference between and? 7. Elicitation can show them how to work things out for themselves. This is really just an aspect of the point above. Telling students that obstruction is the noun of obstruct is obviously quick and might even be listened to and understood, especially if you write it up on the board in some way at the same time. However, there is often a reason to take the time to elicit with: what kind of word is action? A noun, good. And what word does it come from? I mean, is there a similar word that is an adjective, an adverb, a verb, etc. that is similar? Try taking off some of the letters towards the end. Act, good. What kind of verb is act? We say, he is acting, so what kind of word is it in that sentence? V. Sure, that's right, that's what it says in your dictionary. V stands for verb. So, act is the verb and action is the noun. Okay, so let's go back to obstruct and obstruction. This is a rather long example, but I believe even this could be worthwhile because it has taught students some useful grammatical terminology and, more importantly, shown them how to analyze word formation for themselves.